Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up your sheet for the puzzle cube. Alright, so since we already created a title block, now what we see here is an A size sheet. We need to change this sheet size to a B size sheet. So I'm going to go and right click on sheet 1 in the browser bar, scroll down to edit sheet, and change the sheet size from A to B. Then press OK. Now, as you can see, my sheet size is a lot bigger, and this, which we put in there to remind us to change the name of the drawing, was all the way over here. And so all I did was click and drag it to where it needs to go. On your sheet, you should have an assembly drawing with balloons, a parts list, titles for all your individual parts, and all of your individual parts need to be dimensioned. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to click on our base view up here. The folder or the puzzle cube that I want to use is I'm going to be using my assembled puzzle cube, or we can use our presentation puzzle cube. I'm going to go ahead and click puzzle cube that is my IPN. This is my exploded assembly. If you get a dialog box like this, that's fine. We just say okay, and we're going to place it in right here. And then just go ahead and say okay. Our next view that we're going to add is going to be our assembled puzzle cube. So make sure that you guys choose your correct puzzle cube. This is my puzzle cube that I want. I'm going to rotate it so that way it matches my exploded view. And I'm going to change the size to 1/2. And I'm going to place it right here in the middle. And then I'm going to say OK. So both of these are not colored, and they do need to be colored. So I'm just going to double click on the red box and go up here to Style on the dialog box and make sure that I choose Shaded. Say OK, and do the same for the other view. Now that I have both of these created, I can go ahead and create my parts list. To create my parts list, I'm going to go up here to the top where it says Annotate, and on the Annotate tab, all the way to the right, you should see something that says Parts List. Go ahead and click on that. From here, I have a lot of stuff going on in my dialog box. The first thing that it wants to know is which view are we going to be using. I'm going to be using my assembled puzzle cube. So I'm going to click here, and I don't need to change anything else. I'm just going to go ahead and say OK. Then you get a dialog box that says the BOM view is disabled and that it must be enabled. Do we want to create it? Yes. So then I get this hovering rectangle, and I'm just going to connect it to this top corner up here. This is my parts list. There's a lot of stuff going on in here, but it's pretty easy to understand. Right here in the description column, there's nothing there. So let's go ahead and edit the parts list. I'm going to right click on it and go down. Nope, I'm sorry, not right click. I'm going to double click on it, and then I should get a dialog box that looks like this. Now I can go ahead and create or delete my different columns. I need to go up here and find the button that says Column Chooser. This button gives us another dialog box. We want to get rid of the description column. So we're going to click on Description and remove it. If for whatever reason we needed to add anything else, we could find it here. But since all we need are 3 columns, we can go ahead and say OK, and that 4th column is removed. Go ahead and click Apply, and you see that the changes are added right away. Now press OK. Now we're going to add balloons. Balloons are generally easy, and there are 2 different types of balloons that we can use. We can use balloon or auto balloon. Both are basically the same series of steps. So I'm going to choose auto balloon. We get a dialog box that says select the view set. I'm going to go ahead and choose my assembled puzzle cube. Then it wants us to add or remove components. So I'm going to click on that, and then I can hover over the different components and they light up red. So I'm just going to go around my puzzle cube and select my different components. And then the next thing we need to choose is to select placement. All that's asking for is where do we want our balloons to live? We want them to be right here, and we can choose to have it be around, horizontal, or vertical. I like the way horizontal looks, so I'm just going to stick with that. And then say, okay. Now, what we have here is a little bit confusing, so I can go ahead and grab the ends of my arrowheads and have it touch the inside of each part. So that's what you guys should go ahead and do and repeat on all of the other puzzle cube pieces. I'm now going to do the same process to this, but I'm going to be using the regular balloon button. All this does is it's the individual process of clicking on the part, clicking, and then right-clicking to continue. Click, click, right-click, continue. Click, click, right-click, continue, and just repeat the process for all of the parts. As you can see, all of my parts have now been ballooned, or now have balloons attached to them. So that takes care of our exploded assembly, our actual assembly, our parts list, and our balloons. Now let's go ahead and move on to placing our individual our individual puzzle part pieces. So go back to place views, click on base, and then find your individual pieces. I'm going to go ahead and start with blue, and I'm going to move my dialog box out of the way, and I want blue to be right here. I'm going to put a front view, a top view, and a side view, and say OK. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that same process for all of my other parts. Once you have all your parts placed, let's go ahead and align them so that they look pretty nice on this sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this front view of my green part, click right here where it says break alignment, and I'm going to click horizontal. And I want it to line up with the front view of my purple piece. And now they are in line. I'm then going to repeat that same process with my purple piece front view and my red piece front view. So now, when I move my pieces and I move my red piece, they all move with each other. Okay? And this is just so that they're all lined up. I can go ahead and do the same thing where I want to make my front view of my blue piece be vertical with my front view of my green piece. And the same thing with the front view of the yellow piece with my red piece. And now everything should be in line. And this is just so that way it looks nice on our paper. Okay, so now that you have that done, we want to add labels or titles for our individual parts. Without adding color, how would we know that this is the blue piece? Well, if we had a label, we would know that. So go to your Annotate tab and choose Text. Right under your piece, we're just going to make a quick text box and type in blue and make sure that it is all in capital letters. And you can type in blue part or blue piece. I'm just going to go ahead and go with blue part. I'm going to highlight it all, click on bold, and click on underlined, and then say OK. I'm going to right click and cancel, and I'm just going to kind of move it down a little bit so it's not so close to my part. I'm then going to right click on it on my text, go to copy, click out here, click down, right click down here, and click paste. And now I can paste this underneath all of my individual parts. And I can change the colors to what they need to be. Okay, so once you have this done, the last thing that needs to be accomplished is our dimensioning. So for these, all we need to do is go to Dimension, and I'm going to start on my blue piece. I need to make sure that I have my overall width. And when this dialog box pops up, you can uncheck mark this box so it won't pop up and bother you again, and click OK. I need my overall height and my overall depth. We also need to know where parts are located or where surfaces are located in relation to other surfaces. Okay, and once you have this done, we can go ahead and move on to the next part. It will be your responsibility to finish dimensioning the rest of these parts. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video.